I'm sorry for that. I didn't unmute. Okay, I'll repeat. So during our last practicals, the first two practicals we performed about the Caesar cipher encryption technique. That was the 1A, the first experiment, and followed by we performed about an affine cipher encryption technique. Then followed by I gave you a exercise, practice exercise for you. That was the 1C, which was based on the one-time padding technique. Right. Soon I will be sharing the link through which you can upload the write-up for 1C, which is one-time padding. And followed by during our last practical, we studied as well as implemented a public key cryptography technique, which is called RSA algorithm, which is a reverse to summy as well as Edelman algorithm. And based on that, right, we achieved the confidentiality as well as authentication with the help of the public key cryptography. With the continuation of those practical in today's practical, we'll be studying as well as implementing another technique which is based on a public key cryptography technique, which is called Diffie element key exchange algorithm. Right. Meanwhile, I'll share the screen and followed by I'll give the theoretical explanation and followed by we'll implement practically. I'll demonstrate the code. I will demonstrate how the coding is executed, and we can see the as well as we will do the analysis of the results. For that, first I'll give the theoretical explanation. What is meant by this Diffie element key exchange algorithm? Then we'll proceed further. I hope the screen is visible. Anyone can quickly write in the chat box whether the PPT presentation screen is visible for you. Anyone can quickly acknowledge in the chat box. Okay, thank you for your reply. You can stop responding. I'm getting the positive acknowledgement from your end, right? So when we talk about a public key or the Diffie element key exchange algorithm, so it is a type of public key cryptography technique. Once again. Basically, this is a public key cryptography technique. So this algorithm, which was proposed by Diffie as well as Hellman in the year of 1976, right? Why we wanted to go for a public key cryptography technique? Why we need to go for the public key cryptography technique? You can say what is an issue when we use a secret key? What is meant by this secret key cryptography? Anyone can unmute and say the answer. I'm not in a position to watch a chat box. You can unmute and say the answer. What is the problem we face when we use a secret key? A secret key, first of all, try to understand what is secret key encryption. Secret key encryption is something that whatever the key which we are using for encryption, the same key has to be used for decryption at the receiver end. Right? Suppose if user A and user B they wanted to transmit the data securely, right? For that they might be going for encryption decryption process. Whatever the key which has been selected and used by user A, the same key, anyhow it has to be delivered or which has to be shared to the user B for decryption. If K1 is used for encryption, the same key K1 has to be used for decryption also. The problem is that how securely this key has to be shared with the receiver B. Suppose if user A is sharing the key, so let's assume that this is transmission of the key. In case if the attacker got the key and there is no point of transmitting the encrypted data, he'll capture the encrypted data with the help of the key yes, and he will decrypt the data. I mean, the attacker can decrypt the data and the security of the data can be compromised. Now, when we use a secret key encryption technique, there are chances that during the exchange of the key, which has to be used for both encryption and decryption, right? The security of the key transmission. There is some technical issue from my end. I got disconnected. I mean, internet issues or internet issue. I came out of the meet. Joined again. Quickly, I'll share the screen. Then we'll continue with our session. I was explaining about an issue through which the security of the secret key can be compromised when the key is transmitted through the network. To avoid this, we are going for a public key cryptography. When we use a public key cryptography, right, this algorithm does not involve any transmission of the key. There is no need for transmitting any kind of keys. Out of that, user will be having a pair of keys. User A will have public and then private. Similarly, user B will have a public as well as a private key. Out of this, right, the key which is used as a private, so that will be the confidential one. And here also both the users' private key will be more confidential, but the public key of one user can be shared with the other users. User A's public key can be intimated to user B. Similarly, user B's public key can be shared with the user A. Also, during our last session, we discussed about different techniques or methods through which public key can be shared. What are those techniques we studied? The first one is public announcement. I hope you remember all these four techniques through which a public key can be distributed. What is the second one? Anyone can unmute and say the answer. The second technique through which a public key can be distributed. Anybody? Waiting for your reply. Publicly available directory, right? And the third one is, what is the third one? Public key authority. And the fourth one is, what is the fourth one? Certificate. Certificate authority, right? So these are the four techniques through which a public key can be distributed to others, right? Now, what are the techniques we discussed about the RS algorithm? If you remember the RS algorithm, then we'll skip that RS algorithm recap. Straight away, we'll move on to the next explanation part. If you want, I can quickly cover this RS algorithm. Do you want me to recap the RS algorithm? You can say yes or no. Accordingly, we'll take the decision and we'll proceed further. So when we talk about RSA algorithm, I got yes from Anushka. And what about others? There are 26, including me. I got only one acknowledgement. And this is RSA algorithm. When we talk about RSA algorithm, which is completely based on the primalities, right? We need to select the two prime numbers P and Q, right? And N will be multiplication of PQ, and pi of N will be multiplication of P minus 1 and followed by Q minus 1, right? From the user A, right? You will select a private key and followed by this pi of N, right? Let me understand other things. Suppose this is a plain text which has to be selected M, right? So E should be selected in such a way that the GCD between this E and pi of N should be 1, right? So based on this value, right, when we talk about, so let's assume, right, suppose if any user A wanted to do encryption, in order to do the encryption, then we'll get the ciphertext C is equal to M power E mod N. M is the plain text and this is E is the public key, right? And mod N. N is the multiplication of P and Q, right? And followed by, when we talk about the decryption, at the end of the decryption, we'll get the actual plain text, which is, right, M, which is equal to C power D. C is the ciphertext, D is the private key, and mod N. Now, how this D will be calculated? D is equal to pi of N plus 1 upon E, right? Let me assume this scenario. User A is trying to send a message to user B using RSA algorithm, right? So now this scenario will try to achieve a confidentiality. What is meant by confidentiality? When we talk about confidentiality, it can be called as a secrecy. Other than the intended receiver, no other person, right, will not be able to read the message, right? In order to do the encryption, user or the sender will use the receiver's public key. So when we talk about the public key of receiver, which is E, and private key of B, which is D. I was explaining about one user's public key will known to all other users in public key cryptography. So by the way, let me assume that the user B's public key is E, any of which has already informed to the user A. So now user A is selecting this data. M is the plain text. On the plain text, he is doing encryption with the help of the public key cryptography. I mean the public key of user B. So here E is the public key of user B. Let's assume, right? Now this is encrypted and we got the value, the ciphertext. Now the ciphertext will be transmitted to the receiver, right? Now receiver, he need to decrypt the data by its own key, own private key. So let's try to understand the core concept when you talk about a public key cryptography. If say for example, if one uses the data is used or the key is used, say for example user B's public key is used for decryption and the same user's private key which will be used for decryption. I hope this is clear, right? By the way, with this scenario example, right, user B's are the receiver's public key is used for encryption, and what is the alternate key which will be used for decryption? Receiver B's private key. In order to do the calculation of receiver's private key, so this formula can be adapted to find out the private key of user B, which is D is equal to pi of N plus 1 upon E. If we substitute these values, right, pi of n value and then one value and then e, we will get the d value. So this formula, which means subject to vary, depends upon the value. Sometimes we may use pi of n multiplied by I plus 1 upon e, where this I you may start from 1, 2, 3 till you will get the remainder value, right? There should not be any reminder, right? You will get the complete number, right? So if you calculate the t value using this formula pi of n plus 1 upon e, and we'll do the decryption. So that is our private key. So decryption will be carried out with the help of the private key. So here C is the ciphertext C power D mod n. I hope this is clear about the RSA algorithm. Any difficulties to understand this RSA algorithm? Okay. So with this, we'll move to the actual explanation, which is a Diffie element key exchange algorithm, right? I was explaining about, right? Now, this Diffie element key exchange algorithm, the purpose of the Diffie element key exchange algorithm is that, right? So, to avoid the difficulties to share the keys between the sender and receiver, right? So, that was the major issue when we talk about a secret key cryptography, right? And so that can be eliminated, that can be avoided with the help of the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, right? So here we are going to use certain formulas as well as technique through which we are going to do the calculation of the both the sender end as well as the receiver end, right? And both the end or both the users they will be generating a secret key. Now this key which can be used for encryption as well as decryption at both the end. So this Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, which does not involve sharing of any secret keys. Instead, based on certain parameters, certain value which we have selected, and now we will be doing some calculation. Based on those calculations, right? We can find out the secret keys. That keys can be used for further process, right? So that can be considered as the key, and based on the key, right, we can generate secret key, right? Now when we talk about the certain difficulties or certain points which we supposed to remember under this Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, right? This cannot be used to exchange an arbitrary message, right? So here instead of transmitting the plain text or actual values, right? So here with the help of this technique, we are going to generate the only key. Rather, it can be established a common key. This common key can be considered as a session key or secret key, which will be used for subsequent encryption decryption process. Right? Now, the value of the key depends on the participants and their private and public key informations, right? So here again, so this Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, which is based on a primality, based on the prime number which you choose, and based on that, whatever the key value which has been selected by the individual users, sender and receivers, right? Based on their private key, the public key value can be calculated, right? Again, so here this is also work based on the modulo prime, right? So again, very similarly, there are some other factor, right, which we supposed to study in further explanations. Now we'll start learning the algorithms. Right now, the first step is that if there are two uses, they wanted to use a Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, right? All the users, they will agree on a global parameters, right? So this we are going to consider as a prime number q, and followed by a primitive root of q. Now let me recall the concept of primitive root. What is meant by a primitive root? Anyone can unmute or you can write in the chat box. What is meant by a primitive root? So this we studied under the numerical introduction to number theory. Under the topic, we studied about what is this primitive root. If you are not sure with the primitive root, it will be very difficult for you to proceed further. What is this primitive root? Anyone can unmute and say the answer. Your answers will be appreciated. What is primitive root? Are you all sleeping? What is primitive root? I hope I am audible. Anushka, don't remember. Okay, no issues. What about others? Others? Anyone can quickly recall what is this primitive root? Wait, no. Yes, a raised to p minus 1 mod p. Yes. Rehan, you are close to the answer. Yes. A raised to p minus 1 mod p. So, when we talk about a primitive root, it's a number. I could say it's like a co-prime of the prime number which we selected, and followed by, I can give a quick explanation that it's better I can explain the open board so that you will understand what is this primitive root. Though I had explained this in the previous sessions, this is the quick recap so that you will get a clear idea or you can revise it. Followed by, we can start with the explanation. Then we will implement the program. When you talk about the primitive root of any prime number which we selected, say for example, if I am selecting my q value is equal to 11, or you can assume any value whether it is a p or q, whatever it may be, the variable doesn't matter. And if I take about any prime co-prime numbers, say for example, if I'm taking 2 is my alpha value, right? Right, this alpha and q should be relatively prime. You must be knowing that what is this relatively prime number or co-prime numbers. When you talk about relatively prime or co-number, right? So there should not be any common factors between these two selected values except one. If that is the case, if these two values are prime, alpha is equal to 2 and q is equal to 11. That case is what we can do is that alpha power 1, 2, alpha power 2 and alpha power 3 till alpha power p minus 1 and mod q till mod q. So this will give the remainder value from again 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3 till 10. Let me quickly check, right? If my alpha value is equal to 2, which is so 2 power 1, which is mod, my q value is equal to 11. So 2 power 1 is 2 mod 11, which is 2. So 2 power 2, which is 4 mod 11, which is 4. So 2 power 3, which is 8. So 8 mod 11, which is 8. So 2 power 4, which is 16. Mod 11, which is 5. So 2 power 5, which is 32. 32 mod 11. 9, right? And so 2 power 6 mod 11, which is 64. 64 minus the 5. Is it correct? 2 power 5 is 32. Here you will get 10, right? 10, 9. Is it clear now? So tell me the value for 2 power 7 mod 11 and 2 power 8 and 2 power 9. So 2 power 10. Let me find the answers. Quick. I hope this is clear. I'm waiting for your replies. Okay. So 2 power 7, 8, 9. Anyone can unmute and quickly tell the answers. 2 power 7 is equal to 7. Okay, very good. And 2 power 8. Others, you can try at least for this. You can use calculator. I'm not telling you to do the mind calculation. You can use the device. Tell me the answers. So 2 power 8 is equal to 3, followed by, okay, and 2 power 9, 10. I hope 2 power 10 you will get 1. So this is using Fermat theorem. Q minus 1 here, values you will get the remainder 1. This is 6, right? So now we can check the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when we start from this alpha power 1 to alpha power p minus 1, so which is, so 2 power 1 to, so 2 power 10. Again we got the results from 1 to 10. So if this condition satisfies, then this alpha 2, which is the primitive root of the prime q, which is 11. I hope this is clear. If you are clear with this, then we'll move to the actual explanation or algorithm. Right? The first point is that, one second. Then I mean to take 10. Okay. So here, this is prime number. A simple way we'll assume it is q is a prime number and followed by the primitive root is q, right? Each user generate their key. So that means that if there are two users A and B and they will select a secret key. Both the users they will have a secret key, right? They can select, but only condition is that that should be less than a q, right? X of A should be less than q and they calculate their public key. I hope this is clear. The calculation of public key, which is alpha power x of a mod q, right? And similarly, user B selects its secret key, which is xb. Now, this y of a is a public key which has been calculated using this formula, right? Similarly, user B, you will select its private key. I didn't miss that. I can explain it. Right? Similarly, the user A or user B will select its private key, which is x of B, and you will calculate the public key, which is yb, which is alpha power xa mod q. Right? So once if the both the users they have their public key as well as private key, the public key can be shared with the others. Right? I'll move to the next slide so that you will get more clarity on this. Followed by that, I'll come back with the normal explanations, right? Let me try to understand. This is Alice. and Bob, right? They wanted to use this Diffie element key exchange algorithm in order to generate a secret key for exchanging the information for in order to do the encryption and decryption, right? First of all, they need to select the prime number which is p and generated. So this they can use any value which can be a primitive root. They can use any variable instead of alpha. They can use g, which is generator of p, or you can call as a primitive root. I hope this is clear. Primitive root. This is these two are the common global values, right? The p value and followed by this the alpha value or g value, which known to the both the sender as well as receivers. By the way, these two are called common global parameters. Right here, user A Alice will select its private key. Similarly, Bob, this is Alice, this is Bob. Bob is also selecting his private key. Now both Alice and Bob, they have selected their private key. Now based on the private key, now they will be calculating the public key. Now calculating the public key by this Alice will be, if this is the private key, let's assume the variable which is XA. Now in order to calculate the public key, which I'll assume it is YA. So in order to do the calculation of public key, which is alpha power x of a mod q. I hope now you are clear, right? Here the alpha value which selected by, it's a common global value, right, which is 6. So 6 raised to 5. 5 is the x of a, which is the private key. So 6 power 5 mod 13, which we will get 6 power 5, which will be 7776 mod 13. Here we will get a value that is public key, which is y of a. So now what is the y of a value, which is 2. I hope this is clear till this part. If any difficulties to understand till this part, you can quickly write in the chat box. I can explain again, or we will proceed further. Yes, Anushka, any query? You raise your hand, right? Any difficulties to understand? Do you want me to explain it again? Okay, no issues. Then I hope this is clear for you, right? In the at the receiver end, right? Again, the Bob has selected his private key 4, and so let's assume this is XB. So I am using this. X is for private and Y for public. So based on the selected private key and then alpha value, Bob will calculate its public key, which is YB, public key of B, which is alpha power XB mod Q, right? So this is alpha value 6 and XB is the private key of B, so 6 power 4 mod 13 and 1296 mod 13. So here is calculating, is getting the public key 9, which is YB. From the public key cryptography, right? We understood that one user's public key can be shared with the other users. By the way, so both the users, Alice and Bob, they will exchange their public key to others, right? Now, this Alice will share his public key to Bob. So here, the Bob will have some information which is the alpha value and Q value, and then X of B, Y of B, and YA. Out of these, right? These are the abbreviations: primitive root and prime numbers. XB, YB are the private and public key of B's, and YA belongs to the public key of A, right? Similarly, here the Bob will share its own public key to the Alice. By receiving this information, Alice will have its own private key and its own public key, as well as receiver's public key, which is YB, along with alpha value and then Q value. So based on these 5 parameters, both the ends, they will be using this formula